I think today was a political decision by the Democrats. My fear is the institution fell today, because you can't do the job if 8 people, you have 94% of, or 96% of your entire conference, but 8 people can partner with the whole other side. How do you govern? If I lose my job over doing what I truly believe was right, I'm very at peace with it.
California Congressman Kevin McCarthy there yesterday after 8 Republicans voted him out as Speaker of the House. He's the first House leader in American history to have his gavel taken away. North Carolina Congressman Patrick McHenry is now the temporary House leader until the House takes a vote next week. Joining me right now is Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson, a member of the Senate Budget and Finance Committee. Senator, good to see you this morning. Thanks very much. How do you read all of this?
Good morning, Maria. Well, as you well know, I'm not of this world. I'm from the private sector. To me, Washington, D.C. is an alternate universe. What is so bizarre about this place, it is grossly dysfunctional, and yet it has a very well-honed process for mortgaging our children's future. And that's what we're seeing play out right now. We go from manufactured crisis to manufactured crisis, the debt ceiling, a shutdown, always building up to a massive 2,000-3,000 page omnibus spending bill that nobody sees before it's passed. It's passed within a couple of days and then quickly forgotten, even though it leaves a trail of destruction in terms of deficit spending, high inflation. Again, we need structural changes here. The House, obviously, Republicans have been chewing and spitting out speakers at a pretty rapid rate. I'm not quite sure who's going to want that job. But we've got a huge problem in this country, in government, but it's not going to be fixed by nibbling around the edges. I see literally hundreds of members of Congress acting like Nero, fiddling while Rome burns, whistling by the graveyard. This has got to change. We need fundamental change in this place.
Well, you talk about dysfunction. How come it always seems like the dysfunction is on the Republican side? The Democrats are not talking about any dysfunction. They've gotten several bills through. They've spent and borrowed $6 trillion in the last 2.5 years, and they were, many of them, bad for the American people, but they were successes for Democrats.
Well, that's actually easily explained. So we have a uniparty that is in charge of this well-honed process to mortgage our kids' future. Democrats are all on board with that. They could care less how much they spend, how much we plunder the future. Republicans, we actually have a few fiscal conservatives in the House and the Senate, and we're doing everything we can to try and bring some fiscal discipline to this place. But we're up against the uniparty, and of course, most of the mainstream media is, cheerleaders for the left, for the radical left, for the uniparty. So, yeah, we do have discord in our ranks because we have a few members, not many, but we have a few members who are concerned about the fact that we're $33 trillion in debt. People don't even know how much we spend. This year we will spend about $6.4 trillion, which is more than $2 trillion more than we spent just 4 years ago, $4.4 trillion. That is an absurd level of spending. It is completely out of control, and yet here we are whistling by the graveyard, and we're just being distracted by By the way, why do we have any kind of shutdown? I've been pressing for 4 years a bill to prevent all government shutdowns. Why haven't we passed something like that? Why do we put ourselves through these types of supposed crisis? It's because the uniparty wants it. It is how they have this process honed to mortgage our kids' future.
Wow. What about these investigations? Where do they stand? Hunter Biden pled not guilty to federal gun charges yesterday. The charges coming out of special counsel David Weiss's investigation. But we're all talking about the influence peddling and the charges of bribery against a sitting president, Senator. What happens to that investigation with Kevin McCarthy gone?
Well, Maria, you're well aware of the fact that Senator Grassley and I laid out more than enough evidence. Had the mainstream media actually covered it honestly, Joe Biden wouldn't be president. But now the House is doing an excellent job. We have whistleblowers that are adding to the record. They're filling in pieces of the puzzle, showing the Biden crime family, its corruption. It's obvious. It's been obvious to me since 2020. It will never be obvious enough for the media to cover it honestly, though, and that's a real problem. But my guess is Jim Jordan, James Comer, they're going to continue with their investigation. There's no reason why they shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying about, the media, and Clearly, the media is not covering any of this. But what about the Democrats? Okay, your colleagues are defending Joe Biden and saying that there's no evidence. So what about that? You say the evidence is in plain sight. You've been working on this with Chuck Grassley for so many years, and you opened this up, this can of worms, and exposed so much. But now what? And how come your Democrat colleagues don't see it your way?
Because they're never held accountable by the biased media. The biased mainstream media is part and parcel of the Democrat Party. So Democrats can get in front of the camera, be completely hypocritical, lie bold-faced, and they are never held accountable. You know, I want free press. I want a media that is unbiased, that holds both sides equally accountable. We don't have that right now. So we've got the Biden family scandal compromising an American president. We have corruption in federal law enforcement. We have corruption in the media. And because we have corruption in the media, because they're not holding the federal government accountable, it allows the corruption in the federal law enforcement to continue as well.
I'm with Joe Concha this morning. Go ahead, Joe.
Senator, would it make sense, and I've seen you do this before on Meet the Press on NBC, for example, for more members of the Senate from the GOP and in Congress, for that matter, to go into the Lions' dens, to go to the CNNs, even the MSNBCs of the world, or write op-eds in the New York Times or Washington Post? Is the way to get the message out there is to confront it head on by doing interviews with those outlets? Because we don't see that enough from your colleagues. I've seen you do it, but not enough from your colleagues.
Well, I'm happy to do it. I don't get invited. I mean, they simply don't invite me on the shows. I reached out to Chuck Todd as he's retiring and said, hey, Chuck, why don't you bring me back in? You talked last time we were doing it remote. Bring me in studio. Let's have a real discussion, or a real debate. He just simply wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard. I can't force myself on those networks. So I have to, go on where I'm welcome. And I truly appreciate the opportunities that Maria gives me frequently.
Well, what about this issue of term limits, Senator? Many people feel that lawmakers get in place and then they forget who they're working for, and they're there for decades. I want to get your take on where the bill for term limits is, because I know that Speaker McCarthy at the time was pressed to bring that bill to the floor. You all have to vote on something that would limit your time in Washington. Is that the issue?
Well, I do know when I got here in 2011, the people that pushed it and found out you need a constitutional amendment pretty well soured on the idea of term limits because they saw what happened in states. The bureaucrats and staff completely took charge. So I think a reasonable term limit might be appropriate, but you need to be very careful. If you're churning elected representatives all the time, you increase the power of the bureaucrats, you increase the power of congressional staff. That's the problem right now. Again, these omnibuses, members of Congress don't read those. Members of Congress don't write those. That's the permanent staff. And it's the permanent staff that has all the connections to the outside lobbying groups that are largely responsible for mortgaging our kids' future. So be very careful in terms of churning members of Congress too quickly.
Well, maybe that should be part of the term limits bill then. I mean, Joni Ernst was on with me a couple of weeks ago, and she said, yeah, I'm for term limits so long as the deep state is also subject to that. Those people that you're talking about who are working behind the scenes, who are the quote-unquote swamp and deep state, they should also have term limits then.
That would be a process control. It might make some difference. We need to do some fundamental things, like probably scrap the Budget Act of 1974. It doesn't work at all. Go to a 2-year budgeting cycle where you can appropriate 6 bills, 6 appropriation bills a year, perform oversight on the other 6, and then reverse it the next year. I would look into having authorized committees actually doing the appropriations themselves, as opposed to have this all-powerful appropriation committee that's not accountable to even the conference, quite honestly.
Yeah.
So again, there's some fundamental changes we have to make. I'm not saying that's going to be a panacea, but there are things we need to start doing. Why weren't we passing appropriation bills starting in April and May of last year? We need to start doing that this year. But again, leadership doesn't like it. It takes power away from them. The Uniparty has this very well-honed process.
The Uniparty. I like that, Senator. Thanks very much for being here this morning.